one, but
But the person that had to do with the insemination has nothing to do with the child. Their sperm was used. It's just like going to a sperm bank.
I'm out of it, but I still think
I think let's go to Bernadette in Cincinnati. Bernadette, you keep it real with Al Sharpton, Dr. Tatum.
Hey, Brother Reverend Al, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Fine, and hello to your guest. Let me say this, Brother Reverend Al. I'm not a religious person, but I just believe that the Bible was written for this time to show us what had happened to us and how to live. You know, your scriptures say the Bible, we're not of the letter anymore, meaning of the flesh. So we are dealing in the spirit thing, spiritual world. So marriage is now of the heart and not the letter. So we understand that whether you go before the judge, the law, elope, whatever, it must be after the heart. So we have to understand God himself, himself, whatever, being a spirit is neither male nor female. That's for understanding. But our soul is male and female, which is our character. But it also says it grieved God that he made man in the flesh because he knew that the things we taught in the spirit were backwards. But when you bring the spiritual world to the physical world, it would be appalling to some who are under the religious law or the original law of nature. We need to understand that we really are from one blood, but nature has two courses, two character attributes, one of destruction and one of peace. Because the Bible tried to build a new law, then you bring these two together, bringing chaos. So when it says neither male nor female, but all are Christ, male and female were the original symbolism of knowledge and wisdom.
But Bernadette, we cannot, wait a minute, you cannot, because my music's there, thank you for your call, you cannot run a society based on me or your belief, my or your belief in the Bible, any more than you want to be under somebody's belief in their holy scripture as your law. That's what the whole thing is about. Thank you for your call. Thank you, Dr. Tatum. Thank you, Nitha Khan, who produced today's show. Lee Majors, technical producer, our executive producer out today for Team Muhammad. Don't forget tonight, every night, Monday through Friday, I'm live 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Central Time on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton on MSNBC. And, of course, everybody on the way to New York. Wednesday, we start the National Action Network Convention. You can go to nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. Get the schedule. You that can't get to New York, call or go online and redo your membership. We coming out of there with a plan. We gonna be doing it right. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody. Reverend Al told you personally. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Free Detroit. Talk to you tomorrow.
The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily those of either WGCV 620 AM, its staff or management, or our parent company, Glory Communications Incorporated.
Get ready. Armstrong Williams is up next on WGCV 620 AM, where knowledge is power.
I'll never forget that moment.
Never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
It started with a phone call.
I got the text when I was at work.
My first call up ever as a member of the National Guard. This was it, the real deal.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires, how they were getting dangerously close to homes.
It was amazing to be a part of this massive operation. Helicopters were going up with huge buckets to drop water on the fires. Some of the guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
We went out in Humvees to help with the evacuations.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com. Discover what it means to be a citizen soldier, to serve locally as well as globally. Look into the benefits, including career skills and money for college. Take a moment. Go to NationalGuard.com today.
Sponsored by the South Carolina National Guard, aired by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Al Sharpton. I'm keeping it real on WGCV 628.
Good God! I got to ask you, of sweet potato pie. Even the keenest taste buds will tell you. The best food on the planet. Large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. So get to Henry's at 5431 Indian Head Highway, Oxon Hill, Maryland, or give us a call at 301-749-6856. Soul food. Henry's soul food. What we need? Soul food. Henry's soul food.
Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show, brought to you by Golden Crust Bakery, the fastest growing Caribbean-owned franchise in the United States. Golden Crust is committed to the delivery of quality food and excellent customer service. Visit them today at goldencrustbakery.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Armstrong Williams Show. Dr. Reese and Dr. Fleischer, thank you so much for joining us.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. Pleasure.
Dr. Fleischer, at what point in your life that you evolved from not believing that same-sex marriages should ever be legitimized as the same as heterosexual marriages to believing that they should have the same rights as married couples? Talk about that transition in your life.
I'm not sure when that transition occurred. Certainly until fairly recently, I really didn't give it much thought. It never occurred to me that marriage was anything but between a man and a woman. However, as I began to be enlightened by things I was reading, people that I met, I realized that I needed to take another look at this and understand what is a marriage. And I, in a way, had to redefine marriage for myself.
So what is a marriage? What is a marriage?
Well, I think a marriage is the joining of two people who love each other and are committed to each other's care, love. I think that's it. There are other relationships, of course, in which where there is care and commitment. Certainly, that of parent and child. That I can't ever see that as a marriage. But certainly I think of sexual intimacy as part of the loving and the caring, because this is a part of loving and caring, and where all of those intersect, I think that becomes a marriage. Become a marriage.
Dr. Reese, how is it that your parents, my parents, my grandparents, our great parents, how could they be so wrong? How could all of a sudden, the last 20 years, we could just totally erase traditional values, moral striving, and just toss it out of the window as if those people were ignorant and totally out of touch and their values were clueless. And now what we're going to do is update what values are. And let me just tell you, now that we're updating what marriage is, do we need to update God and make him more hip and more relevant to where we are today? Do we need to change the meaning of what God is?
Well, I think we all have so many more definitions of what God is.
No, but there's only one definition of God. I'm not talking about what others are trying to say is, but I'm just asking you, do we need to update God now?
I think we all need to update, meaning grow in our understanding of all of our values.
Listen, I'm not. We are entitled to our values. We're entitled to do good. We're entitled to sin. We're entitled to kill. We're entitled to steal.
No, we're
entitled
not.
to hurt people.
No, we're not. We're not.
We have free will. We're entitled for free
will. We are
will.
not entitled to kill.
No, but we do.
We are not entitled
free will,
to hurt
Free
others.
will allows us to kill, to steal, to rape, to choke, to molest. Free will allows us to do that. But guess what? There's a price for it.
We don't allow that. I don't allow that.
No, we don't
but it
allow
happens.
that,
It happens.
Armstrong.
But let me ask you: when we start dumbing down morality, when we start redefining God, when we start redefining marriage, when we start redefining right and wrong, when you start throwing the values that your parents taught you out of the window, then what kind of society do you think you're gonna have?
Well, wait a minute. I don't think that redefining marriage is a dumbing down of morality. I think they're two separate things.
Really?
I think that yes, I think that morality can include two people who are homosexual loving each other and committed to each other with exactly the same values that I would insist on in a marriage.
Some would say that is not love.
I don't think that's a change in morality.
Some would say that is not love, that is lust, and it's only based on beauty, and it doesn't last.
Absolutely not. I know many unattractive homosexuals. It's not based on lust necessarily at all, any more than marriage between heterosexuals necessarily
But what you're describing is a lifestyle. Marriage is not. You're describing a lifestyle.
No, I'm not describing a lifestyle, Armstrong. If I were describing a lifestyle, then most of the gay people I know wouldn't be wanting to be married and be in a conventional kind of relationship where many of them are successfully being parents.
And also, if I were describing a lifestyle, there are so many heterosexual marriages that are disgraceful. I know many that I would consider terrible marriages.
And there have been gay marriages that are disgraceful. You can say the same.
Absolutely.
You make the same argument.
Are some.
You make the same
argument.
argument.
Yes, there are some, but not all.
Bad things.
It's not in the sexual orient. I don't believe that it's in the sexual orientation that a marriage becomes disgraceful or immoral or amoral. I think it's in the way the commitment is lived. That
it's the way people are treating each other. It's the kind of home they're building.
How could two wonderful human beings, so respected, so intelligent, so wise,
here he comes,
so wise, how could you contribute to the hijacking of the institution of marriage?
I don't believe we are
it's being hijacked. I believe it's being honored and respected and expanded.
You have been conditioned, reprogrammed, manipulated, and sadly confused. You were not always that way. What happened?
I don't agree with you.
You just said you were not always there.
Armstrong, I didn't even notice when the people from outer space took me away for that weekend.
This is here's what I want to take this, because this is an important topic. I believe with all my heart, and I would defend it with my life, that a person has a right to sleep with whomever they want to, that we should not police their bedrooms. I believe that if you want to leave your benefits to whomever, you leave them to that person. You have the right to have whomever in your hospital, by your bed, in your sickest hour. You have a right to that. You have a right to live without prejudice, without discrimination, without hatred. Yes. But please, please don't try for your own legitimacy to give you respect, hijack the meaning of marriage, and try to turn that into a marriage, because that can never be a marriage. It can be called a partnership. It could be called a personal choice. It could be called your love interest. But it can never be called marriage.
What is your definition of a marriage, Armstrong? Yeah. What is it that makes a marriage?
Marriage, and you're not going to like this, marriage is only possible. It's for the bringing together of a man and woman in procreation to have children and further this civilization. And let me finish. And the very thing that you despise and that you don't want in terms of heterosexual marriage, the only way you can have these kids is that if you go to a sperm bank or you find someone that you can lay down with to give you a baby. You cannot.
Or you adopt.
But it still comes from a heterosexual couple, no matter how you cut it.
Armstrong, I am way past my childbearing years. I lost my husband 6 years ago.
But you had your children. You had your children.
Just a minute, I'm not finished. Am I not allowed to get married? If I marry somebody else, is that not a marriage? Because
you would marry a man. It would be unthinkable.
Wait, you didn't say. You said procreation. I can't procreate.
You already have. You already have. You've done your service to society.
But suppose I wanted to get married again.
You would marry a man.
Not be a marriage?
You would marry and respect the institution of marriage. You would marry a man. That's exactly who you would. It would be unthinkable for you to marry a woman. You would find it laughable in the private moments of your life.
If I were a lesbian, I would marry a woman.
You are 100% heterosexual. That's who you are, and nothing can change that. No amount of publicity, no amount of nothing can ever change that.
Armstrong, no one's saying that somebody should change what they are.
You can't change who you
Let
are.
me ask you this.
Let me go to break. You can tell I already knew where my most respected two women I love dearly. And it pains me to have this conversation, but we've got to save this world.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Cross's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Cross near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make $100 million or $10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams expressing what we mean by conservative traditional value.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Welcome back with Dr. Thelma Reese, Dr. Barbara Fleischer. We welcome to the broadcast. Alan, you have a comment?
Yes, how are y'all doing today?
Not so well.
Hello.
Not so well today.
I don't know, Armstrong. Let's look at this. And I'm with you 100% when it comes to marriage and what it entails. Every bit, 100% on board with you with this. But have we put words in God's mouth and tradition of acts in what God set as is? And what I mean by that is, and I speak from a Christianity perspective, in the book, when man took a woman, they became as one. Have we, man, put the word marriage and tradition of the process and the paperwork and the finances and all of that, have we put all of that and wrapped it into the basics of when man took woman? Did we not define the word of marriage when God never has in the word? But in the process of man took woman, that doesn't change. That hasn't changed, doesn't change, will never change. But have we took that step further, and that's where the confusion is. We're wrapped up in the word of the word marriage. And I don't think God created that for that. And I think that's where we are. And if we can separate what God intended for man and woman, which will never change, and separate that from what man has created as far as the tradition and all of the finance and all of the enemy's tools to keep us divided, I think we may be able to come to some type of common ground. You can't change and I believe it's wrong for woman and woman, man and man. I believe that's wrong. But I think man has put on that, and the confusion is there, and not with what God has done, put man and woman together.
Well, let me raise this with you, Alan. Do you think that two people of the same sex, who try to give legitimacy to themselves in the face of their fellow man in the law, do you consider them a family, even if they have children? Do you consider that a family?
In man's law, not in God's law.
So it's not even a family?
In man's law, because man is the one creating the law, and it's governed by the majority of the people. So if the people create that as law, then that's man's law. That's Caesar. Nothing we can do about that. That's in place to happen. But by God's law, which we live individually, no, it's not.
But then what it seems as though man is trying to do is just get rid of God altogether, and they decide what is right and wrong, and they become the law of the land. They don't need God anymore.
But isn't that written? Isn't that the way the Bible states what is to happen?
You make a good point.
Isn't this a wonderful comment, Alan? Because I think you are defining really brilliantly the secular state. We are not a theocracy. You are defining so well this difference between man's law and God's law. God's law is something that everyone decides what he believes and she believes. But man's law is the way we govern ourselves and the way we live in a society. And if we are not a theocracy, everyone who believes, however they have grown up or come to realize themselves or come to grips with, is their religious belief, that's another thing. You are putting it so well. I wish you could speak to the Congress and the rest of the country.
I would be happy if I can get Armstrong to understand that point with me, as I agree with him. And I think that would be a great move forward.
You know, listen, I mean, it's obvious that, and this is something that men have done since the beginning of the time when they were thrown out of the Garden of Eden, is because they disobeyed and wanted to do it their way, and we continue to pay the price for it. And so why do we think it's not only is it's not changed, they've ratcheted up several high decibels. So, yeah, and this is what happens. But there are consequences. And here's the thing for me is the fact that I live in Washington, D.C., and I see so many young kids who are just in gender crisis. They have no idea what they are. We don't see the impact that it's having on our kids. It's one thing to forget adults to wrestle with these issues and they're mature enough to understand them, but children really don't understand the consequences, which sometimes can be very tragic.
But Armstrong, do you believe that their sexuality is that influenced by forces outside themselves?
Absolutely, by the media. I know kids will tell you now, we do a lot of shows, they will tell you now that even though they're attracted to men or they're attracted to women, they're heterosexual, they feel a lot of pressure that if they don't experiment with homosexuality, people will frown upon them on the playground. Yes. Yes.
I am shocked to hear that.
Alan, you're not shocked to hear that, are you?
Well, I do agree with you, Armstrong, that the media and society has put it so far in front of the eyes of our children that, yes, it is bombarding.
They're confused.
We, as a Christian, have to just drop the seed and then let it manifest. When we do Moses, when we get angry, when we get upset, frustrated, and do the Moses thing and try to bash it upon them, then we put harm to ourselves. Because only we individually have our salvation with God.
What about these children who do come out of the closet and they're thrown down the steps or they're beaten by the
that
people?
Is wrong.
Those
people do
kids.
that. They should be punished. That is
wrong. I know it's wrong, but I know it's wrong. But what I mean is, this is happening because when people allow this kind of hate to go on, for people not to say what they are or say what they feel.
I don't think a lot of these kids know who they are and what they feel. I think they're confused.
And a lot of them are not. And a lot of them are confused because to acknowledge how they really feel would make them socially unacceptable or make them really prone to bullying, make them feel like victims instead of who they honestly are. I have worked with lots of adolescents over the years, particularly in a playwriting program that I helped to start, where we have seen kids acknowledge in plays, especially when they could write as other people, going through this turmoil of recognizing that maybe they're gay. It's not a moment when somebody can say, don't be what you are. It's a moment for tolerance and a moment for listening and a moment for letting them find out about themselves with our guidance. And our guidance doesn't mean denial. Our guidance doesn't mean shut up and sit down and be a regular guy or a regular girl.
But let's just say if they do feel this way, are we saying they have a license to go out and experiment? Are they ready for that?
It's not about experiment.
That is all it is. They have no
No,
idea.
I don't
they're
believe
playing
that,
with fire.
Armstrong.
They're playing with nuclear armor. They have no idea what they're dealing with. And especially if they're dealing with adults who will exploit them and take advantage of them, where they feel so bad and so empty that many of them go out and commit suicide.
Well, when they do that, it's because they feel if they acknowledge, if they are gay and they acknowledge that to themselves, they're terrified of what the world holds for them. Instead of, maybe I can still have a really good, productive life, be a regular, productive person, discover what I have to offer the world, as I've seen many kids finally do. That's what we want for them. Armstrong, I have one question, though, to ask you, because when you said to Bobby, if she were to marry again, it's okay because she already contributed. She already had children. What if she hadn't had any children? What about childless couples?
That happens. But still...
Or they didn't want children. What about if they didn't want children?
That's their choice.
Well, should they marry? It's not for procreation.
They should not. That's their choice. That's their choice. Let me go to Randy. Randy, you have a comment. Thank you for calling. Go ahead.
What's up, Armstrong? How you and your guests doing?
You know how we're doing.
Hey, look, I got a quick question and then a comment. Now, I would like to know, out of all y'all three, what are y'all on gay marriage? Yes or no? Simple question.
No.
Yes.
Wait, what? I didn't hear the question.
Are you?
Yes or no on gay marriage? That's
Are
all.
you a proponent of gay marriage?
Yes or no?
Do I?
Are you for it or against it?
Oh, am I for it? I'm for it.
Yeah, for it, against it. That's it.
For it.
And then I want to make a comment.
Okay, for it.
What about the other brother?
Oh, he's against it. Alan's against it.
Oh, he's against it? Now, I'm going to tell you like this. I have evolved on the situation. I have evolved on it from being a child to being a man. Now, as a child, I thought it was wrong and nasty, and I got that from the media and my peers in my neighborhood. Like the gentle lady was saying, y'all was just saying that if somebody come out, you know, they like the media is helping them come out. I doubt that, because where I grew up at, if you came out, if you was gay, you got beat up. I mean, gay bashing wasn't a saying; it was a reality. I mean, it was what it was. The people that were gay when I was growing up, they went through hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they go through now. Like I said, now I'm a man. And dealing as a man, I think everybody, as the Constitution says, has a right to the pursuit of their own happiness. Now, listen, I'm not against nobody having happiness. I'm not against nobody getting divorced, because whoever get married gonna get divorced, or whoever get married gonna stay married. The only problem I have with it is that it's being politicized, it's being harped upon, and also targeted as going through religion. Our country is not based on religion. Our country is based on the freedom of religion, or freedom of anything you want to, go through in your life. Freedom, period.
Randy,
so on that basis,
thank you, brother.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Dr. Reese, how are you today?
Hi.
Dr. Fleischer, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Let's say this. My blood pressure has only gone up a little bit.
Well, I really appreciate that we can have a constructive discussion about this because I think it requires a great deal of discussion and rethinking and evaluation of what, where values and morals end and law, let's say, begins. And so I'm very glad we're having this discussion.
Is there a difference between somebody being overweight and being obese?
Whoops. There's the right. There's a Yes, there is a difference.
I hope so.
We have Vincent Pedre, who says regular exercise is a key to longevity. Has that been a key to your longevity, Dr. Reeses and Fleischer?
Well, I do exercise. I've changed the way I exercise as I've gotten older. I haven't played tennis in years. I even stopped doing a lot of things that I did at the gym, and I switched over to water aerobics because it's easier on the joints. But it's still really good exercise. And when I do it, I walk to the gym, and that's about a mile each way, and I feel better.
I think exercise is critical, but I think what is equally critical, Dr. Vincent Pedre, is averaging 8 hours of sleep every night. I think that's the secret to my longevity so far, because I'm literally 362 days of the year, I average 8 hours of sleep every night. I don't let anybody interfere with me and my sleep. And when I say a night, I'm saying Sunday through Thursday night. Now, Friday, Saturday, I have a little fun. But Sunday through Thursday, nobody comes between me and my sleep. Dr. Pedre? Welcome to the broadcast.
I'm here.
Do you sleep?
Do I get enough sleep? I wish I could get 8 hours of sleep per night. That would be ideal.
What's stopping you?
Oh, my goodness. My very busy schedule here in New York City.
But how are you going to be fresh to take care of your schedule if you're worn out and not realizing because you lack sleep? Don't you think you're at your optimum and you give your patients your best when you get the adequate amount of sleep and exercise?
Oh, absolutely. But, it can vary. So sometimes even if I get there, I think there's that magic number, and it depends on what cycle of sleep you wake up in. So, for example, 8 hours might be optimal for you, but 6 hours might also still be acceptable because you're waking up at a shallower point in your sleep. So your body can make that transition to being awake.
You did say maybe.
If you wake up from deep sleep, it's much harder for your body to transition to the wakeful hours. So it really depends on, how many stages of cycles of stage 4 sleep that you get, the very deep sleep, which is the most restorative.
How many years do you believe that healthy relationships, where there's no stress, You have someone that you can really relate to, rely on, who's willing to compromise, you're willing to serve each other. You enjoy each other. You're best friends. You don't want to be anyone else. How much can that a healthy relationship add to your longevity? How many years would you say?
Oh, geez. I mean, this is just an opinion.
That's why we have you on there, for your opinion.
I don't know that there's science behind this, but I'll say, let's say like an extra 10 years.
Wow. That is huge, Dr. Fleischer.
Yeah, boy, that's a real gift.
And
I love this.
Oh, wow. And tell us why.
Why is it a gift?
I'm asking Dr.
Pendray. Oh, yeah.
To tell us why.
Oh, why? Well, it's really about healthy relationships. You know, if you're in a healthy relationship, then, and the interesting thing is, for men, it was shown that men who had a companion, maybe in matrimony, a wife, but for women, it really was healthy relationships. Didn't have to be another man. It could be just very close girlfriend. And that was just as equal substitute for that. Sorry, guys. So, but I think because it lowers stress, it lowers your stress hormones. So you don't have as much adrenaline going through your body, which tends to age you faster.
Interesting. You know, you're giving us a prescription on how to keep a baby boomer running forever. You talk about scientists have searched for the biochemical switch, which will someday turn off the human aging process. Now, Dr. Reese and Dr. Fleischer, you know this probably is not going to happen, right?
Well, I don't expect it. I don't expect the aging process to actually be turned off, at least in my case, but I do think it can be enjoyed more, and I do think that activity certainly plays a part, and I'm very interested to hear what Dr. Pedre said about women and friendships. In fact, Dr. Fleischer and I were just writing about that today, and the fact that women's friendships are so important and really do play a part in not just the relief of stress, but the feeling of connection, the feeling less isolation. And I think all of that, Dr. Pedre, must have a strong component in whether we live longer or not.
Well, absolutely. And if you look at centenarians around the world, you know, they call them the blue zones. One of the important aspects to their longevity is a sense of community.
Explain more. I mean, you like talking in sound bites. We want some dialogue here. You got to talk to us.
I'm waiting to hear what you guys are going to say.
How do people create that sense of community, do you think, best?
Did you hear her question?
Well, I mean, for example, there's somewhere in Italy, I think it's Sardinia, where they actually have a publication that features an elderly member of the community every month and sort of just celebrates their life and how they live life and interviews them. And I think that's something that we lack here in the U.S. We need to celebrate our elderly and what we can learn from them is so important.
Oh, Dr. Pedre, you're just the man we need. You're saying everything that we're writing about.
I wish I had been at this stage when my grandparents passed away. I was still young when they passed. I was in my 20s. And I think I didn't... I think I appreciated them, but I think now, I'm almost 40, I would have appreciated them so much more and their wisdom. And I think of, at times, questions that I wish I could have asked them, you know, about their lives and just in general. They were always imparting wisdom, little sound bites of wisdom that I've kept.
Do you think, we think that the landscape is changing because there are so many more older people, particularly women, who are living longer lives. Do you think there is any kind of cultural shift going on where older people, where it's not just Armstrong Williams who likes to talk to older people? Do you think more people do?
Do more people like to talk to older people? That's what you're asking.
More people are more accepting of older people. Do you think there's a change? Well, as Thelma said, in the landscape.
We have, whether we want to or not, we have to embrace them because our baby boomers are entering their retirement age, and they're predicting that they're going to be living longer than their parents did. So we're going to have a very big part of our population that's an aging part of our population that we need to include and celebrate.
Well, we also feel that not only is the population going to increase, but that it's going to be more participatory, more involved, more empowered, that they're going to, they're not just going to be sitting there being old and wise, but that they're going to be influential in the world.
Hold that point. We're coming back with our elder chicks or our youthful chicks and Dr. Vince.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Crust's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Crust near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrustBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sports shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
And welcome back to the broadcast with our very special guest. You know, how do we get young people, we talk about this, to start from an early age, working with their parents and the communities and the schools, to really respect their bodies? Because I can tell you, it's a sad situation to see a little roly-poly kid. It really is. It's just not healthy. It's just not a fun thing to see.
Well, that's a big initiative that Michelle Obama has been putting forward, you know, getting our kids to move. You know, and I think everybody should be exercising in some form or fashion. You know, you have to do what fits with your lifestyle and your body. If you have joint aches or pains, you know, you might have to modify like what you're doing. Like the doctor was explaining earlier, that she was doing water aerobics, which is great, and it's easy on the joints, but you're still getting out there and you're moving.
Exactly, but I'm really horrified at what I see in schools, because what I don't see is a strong physical education program anymore.
No funding, not enough money for it. Very sad.
It's almost like a lot of things in our society now, I think, are being transferred to being the responsibility of the parents. You know, because, I mean, ultimately, are we to blame the schools for our children not being active, or as parents, is it part of our duty to make sure that our kids are active and that they eat a nutritious diet and they, you know, that they get the right information about how to take care of their health? I mean, I think it starts at home.
Yeah, and I bet that active parents do not have obese children. Right. Parents who are involved in getting exercise, and that's important to them, probably have children who also are getting more exercise. I don't know that for a fact, but I would suspect that parents, as with almost anything else, have to be good role models. I don't know how much responsibility. I hate to see phys ed go out of the schools. It was always such an important part of it.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said, parents have to be role models, and they need to get out there and exercise, and they have to, you know, they might have aches and pains. You know, as we get older, our bodies don't respond to exercise the way that they used to, and you have to kind of keep moving through that and try to prevent injury. So I always, because I'm an integrative doctor, I recommend homeopathic remedies like arnica hair gel that you can apply directly to the muscle and the joints to keep you active and keep you moving. It helps reduce pain and swelling. And it's not like taking some of the over-the-counter anti-inflammatories that could have bad side effects, like causing you to have a gastric ulcer or bleeding internally. But I really do think, I mean, I agree with you that, you know, family that moves probably moves together, you know, that children learn by example. So if they see their parents sitting in front of the television not doing anything, and there's no activities on the weekend that gets them out and active, that's what they're going to learn.
But you know what?
It really starts at home.
We also know through everyday living and what we see on TV and what we read, they can learn some very good things also. Very good.
By that, what do you mean?
Dr. Reese, you're a teacher.
For example,
kids learn what they want to learn and what they need to learn, and we know they can learn.
Exactly.
Not just the bad things that are out there.
That's right. And believe me, as we all know, every child doesn't have a parent who is able to provide the example. That's what public education is about, too. It's not just about the information that we pass on in terms of academic learning. It's about all phases of education, and that includes taking care of your body, I think it is a responsibility of the schools, too, because there are lots of kids who go home to where a parent has been working all day and isn't there for after-school exercise, can't afford to put the kid into some lovely tennis program in the suburbs, and needs to learn how to exercise at school, too. I'd like to see it back.
Why was it ever removed?
Funding.
I think
and a lack of
money.
funding.
Mm-hmm.
Money. That's why.
Yeah. It's too bad. You know, we have
many-
shifting,
Go on.
we have shifting emphases all the time, you know, in the schools, and we get sidetracked into sometimes ridiculous arguments over curriculum, and things go by the wayside. The things that don't have a strong voice, a strong lobby, a strong bunch of people who are saying we need this, get lost. The arts get lost. Phys ed gets lost. These are some of the things that actually keep unhappy kids in school.
And the
the question should be, can we afford? You know, we're saying we can't afford this, but the question should also be, can we not afford to do this because of the consequences and the strain that this is going to put on the healthcare system in the future?
Right.
When you have childhood obesity leading to heart disease and diabetes and all the medical care that's going to require in the teenage years.
And how do we deal with the companies that are protesting the removal of soft drinks from the schools, because that's such a potential moneymaker for.
If I see a vending machine in a school with soft drinks, I really want to throw a rock at it. How dare we do that? Of course it tastes good. You can't depend on a 10-year-old to be able to make that judgment. And I mean, it's hard enough for me to resist.
Well, listen to this. I ran into this, and I found it to be really upsetting. I forget the name of the groups, but it's like the National Dairy Council or whatever, and the International Dairy Association. I'm kind of fudging the names, but they've petitioned the FDA to change the designation of milk and 17 other dairy-related products so that it could include non-nutritive sweeteners like aspartame, which is a known neurotoxin, because it makes it sweeter. And their whole campaign is based on the fact that children are drinking less milk. So they want to make it more taste appealing to children at schools so that they'll choose to drink the milk that now has maybe aspartame in it, but it doesn't even have to be put on the label. It can just be called milk. They're asking the FDA to approve.
That's frightening.
It's absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, let me. Go ahead, Dr. Fleischer.
No, I'm saying this is ending up being extremely depressing. Now I'm used to.
But you know what? We need to get
not
this
sleep
information
tonight.
out there. People need to. I think that the biggest power we have against these forces is the information age. How easy it is to get information now with the internet. The world is changing because what used to be digested and presented to us in a certain way, and there were no controls. Now people can talk through the internet. You can read things on blogs. You can really spread information out in so many different directions that I think that the population, little by little, the consciousness is going to rise on a lot of these issues.
Certainly hope so.
And at some point it's going to reach breaking points, and people are going to say, no more. We've had it.
Well, I certainly hope you're right, because what you just said. Well, we just won't put it on the label, and they may have the power to do that. And then who would know? This is terribly, terribly distressing and frightening.
It makes you ponder.
Very frightening.
It really makes you ponder. How do we get more information, Doctor? Is there a website?
My website is, what's that?
Yeah, information on you.
Oh, on me. You can go to my website, www.pedremd.com. And through there, I have links to my blog and links to my Facebook page. I've actually started a petition basically asking the FDA to not approve this change in the definition of milk to allow them to add these sweeteners in there. And I'm trying to get people to sign on to this petition and present it to the FDA to show them that the people have voices and that we don't want things like this. We have to stand up to these bigger organizations in corporate America, whatever it may be, and fight for not only our rights to truth in labeling, but also our right to have protect our own health.
Mm-hmm. And our kids' health.
It's a matter of life and death. Well, listen, thank you, Doctor, so much for joining us. We've got to have you back. And Dr. Reese and Dr. Fleischer, you are just two of the most youthful people over 40 I've ever met. I just need some more of your energy. Thank you for your insights, your intellect.
Thank you, Armstrong.
And putting up with me. Thank you.
Oh, and you're putting up with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you, callers.